Hello, my little cupcakes. I have a great story for you today. The name of this book is WIlfred. I'm going to read the words and then show you the pictures, okay? WIlfred. Our story begins in a faraway place where there once lived a lonesome giant named WIlfred. So he was lonesome, and he was a giant. WIlfred was humongous and hairy. And the thing he wanted most of all in the whole wide world was a friend. One day, WIlfred came across a little town with little people in it. These little people were very unusual. They didn't have a single hair on their heads, not even the ladies. So he was very big and hairy, and he went to this town, and none of these people had hair on their heads. Not one piece. In this odd little town, there were little ball children playing. WIlfred wanted to join them, so he did, and they all ran away. So he wanted to join them. He saw them playing, and he tried to join them, and they all took off running. They were afraid of him. All except one brave little boy who said to the big hairy giant, "Sit!" And WIlfred did. "Huh," said the boy, "stand on one foot." And WIlfred did. So he told WIlfred to sit, and he did. And they told him to stand on one foot, and he did. Said the boy. Play golf, and WIlfred did. Play the ukulele, and WIlfred did. Do my math homework, and WIlfred did. Reenact the Battle of Waterloo, and WIlfred did. So whatever this little boy told him to do, WIlfred did. Play golf, do his math homework, dance, reenact the Battle of Waterloo. He did it all for him. The little boy and the big hairy giant had so much fun that they decided WIlfred would come back the very next day. So they had a great time together. See the little boy down there? And they said, "Come back and we can do it again." Let's see what happens. Meanwhile, the little ball townspeople watched as the big hairy giant lumbered away. They wanted hair too. And with winter coming fast, they wanted it soon. So the little ball people in the little ball town came up with a big and nasty idea. When WIlfred came back the next day, a few of the little ball people stopped him and told him that big hairy monsters were not allowed in their little ball town. If he wanted to visit, he'd have to stop being big and to stop being hairy. Since WIlfred couldn't stop being big, so these people had an idea. They didn't want to be bald anymore. And WIlfred came to town. They stopped him and said he couldn't be big and hairy. But WIlfred couldn't help being big. I wonder what they're going to do. The only thing left for him to do was stop being hairy. So the little ball people said he should let them cut off his hair. And WIlfred did. Without his hair, poor WIlfred was too cold to play with the little boy. Instead, the big hairless giant went back to his cave. He was so cold. So they told him that he needed to not be hairy and to let him cut his hair off. But he was too cold to go play with the little boy. He was freezing. He didn't have any hair on to keep him warm. Winter came early and the snow piled on the ground while the little boy waited day after day for the big hairy giant to return. But WIlfred did not come back. The little boy couldn't understand why. Until one afternoon, trudging back into town, he was met with a big hairy surprise. Some of the little ball people in his little ball town were not bald anymore. They had wigs. When the boy asked where they had gotten all the hair, they replied, "Just from some big hairy monster." So the little boy's waiting for the monster to come back, and he never came. When he went into town to find out what was going on, The people had wigs on from the monster's hair. Then the boy went to find... I missed the page. Oh no, without his hair, the giant would freeze. The little boy had to help him. He ran back home where he made giant mittens out of his blankets. He knew the giant was in trouble. So he went back home, he ran back home, and he made mittens out of his blankets. He knew the giant was cold. He knew it. Then the boy went to find WIlfred. That night a blizzard rolled in with great blustery gusts and to toss the boy about like a little ball snowflake and carried away his giant mittens. In the face of disaster and the danger of frostbite, the boy tried to stay calm. Oh, man. So the boy went to find WIlfred, and he got caught in a blizzard with heavy winds, and it blew the mittens away, and he was scared. He knew he was going to get frostbite. He knew he was in trouble. The snow fell and the winds blew through the night, and the next morning the town awoke minus one tiny member. The boy was missing. The town went out on a search committee. They looked and they looked and they looked for the lost little boy. They looked everywhere. They couldn't find him. They looked for the lost little boy. The town went out to look for him. I wonder where he went. I wonder if the giant could find him. I don't know. Until at last they found him safe and warm, because in the night when the boy was lost, he had shouted, "Please save me." And WIlfred did. The little townspeople felt sorry. The creature wasn't just a big hairy monster. He was a hero, and he needed their help. Aww. So the little boy cried out, and WIlfred heard him and went to help him, even though he didn't have hair. And when the people came, they knew that WIlfred was in trouble. He had to have some warmth. I wonder how they're going to help him. They covered WIlfred in blankets and made a big fire to help him get warm. Then they took all their wigs and sewed them back together. They made a fire. They got some blankets to try and help WIlfred to get warm again. And they took all the wigs that they had on their heads and they sewed them back together. I wonder what they're going to do. They sewed him into a great big hairy suit for WIlfred to wear. And that's how WIlfred came to have a zipper. A smile. Well, they took all the wigs that they had stolen from him, all the hair, and they sewed it into a suit. And that's how WIlfred came to have a zipper. He has a zipper right in the front. And a smile. And a very best friend. Aww. So, see WIlfred and his little boy together, sitting together. And he has a very best friend. The end. I hope you liked it. See you soon.